Okay, so we're done with the email. Let's get back to the letter attached to the robbery paycheck. It's been a while. So far, he's said, here's why I'm screwing you out of half of your hours. Thought we had a satisfactory conclusion of our work together. Yeah, right. I quit, and he accepted that. Had my own ideas of how the music should go. Yeah, musical director, you thought in your mind. Irreconcilable differences. Hired to fulfill his version of the play. Yeah, no mics, no rehearsals. Found that impossible. After that, I offered to help as long as we did it the way it would be done on this planet, not with rock band and no mics. He declined my offer. Yeah, he said, I want my friend to do it. And we're going to do it with mics. Since then, I had to pay someone your entire fee to rehearse and perform at the last minute. That's your stupidity, Larry. You want to have to be put in this position where you have to pay a bunch of extra money? Well, you're the one. You brought this on yourself. You asked me to quit. You said either do this, which is impossible, or if you can't do it, split. And I didn't split. I stuck around. We managed to make it get even worse than it was. After that, you continued to make contact with our students and come to our school for different reasons. Okay. So it appears I'm being punished for doing this, that this is one of the reasons that he saw fit to not pay me even for my hours. And by the way, if I had just gotten paid for the hours, I would have dropped this. I wouldn't be going through all this. This isn't about the money. I came to your school because Tom O'Connor had asked me how the rehearsals were going, and I told him I would be by to talk to him about it and ask his advice. Also, I knew I had to report to you what was going on, if for no other reason than to save your students from injury, and also out of concern for our future relationship should I ever have the opportunity to work for you again. I have always had fond feelings for your school, as most people who went to your school. Always attended the reunions if I could. Last year, I lived 5 minutes away. If that, I didn't go. I'm hoping I can go this year. I've been forced to report these horror stories to so many people. And I'm so tired of doing it. That's why anybody asks, I'm just going to say, go to this link. I came to your school the second time on opening night to demand that Larry announce that I was not the musical director. That had to be done for obvious reasons. I had good reasons to come to your school. But do I need a reason to visit? Never did before. Would drop by, say I've got a new girlfriend and we're just getting to know each other, and I'm saying it. It's right around the corner. Let me show you this. I'll give you a tour of this really cool school that I went to. I don't think it's Larry's place to make me feel unwelcome in the school that I graduated from and have always been so fond of. About contacting your students, well, again, always enjoyed a good relationship with your school, come to the reunions, played at a Mother's Day event once, and I had no idea what Larry would tell your students about why I left. But I can't have them thinking that I have done what you say I've done, which is to willingly leave while you were relying on me to fulfill my contract. Obviously, I couldn't trouble them with all of this, so I sent friend requests on Facebook saying that I'm terribly sorry, but something has come up and I won't be able to do the show. But it was great to work with them and break a leg. If what was going on in your school, Mr. Perkinson, is what's supposed to happen in rehearsals, they would have been furious. And if I willingly left while he was relying on me, as he should have been, and would have been, had we been working during the 25.5 hours I spent watching the same train wreck not only never get better, but at the end get infinitely worse, Larry would not have so easily accepted my resignation, and Lily wouldn't have been friendly when I showed up on opening night thinking I was there to see the show. People would have said, I've got some kind of nerve showing up around there. I mean, talk to the woman who recommended me. And never will again, that's for sure. Because of all this. The reason she'll never recommend me again, she's the only person who didn't agree that I did the right thing. That's because she wouldn't listen. There is no excuse. There's no way. There is absolutely, I don't care how bad it is, for an accompanist to walk out at the last minute is absolutely, she just could not believe it. It would be disastrous. Mr. Perkinson, I don't believe you would have been so disinterested. And the reason for this is so simple. After 25 and a half hours of work, one expects that 25 and a half hours of work has been done. And for me to quit like that, that throws all that work away, and they have to get a new accompanist up to speed, on the same page with the cast, tight, together, polished, rehearsed, and there was no time left. And so they would have been up all nights in emergency rehearsals, and still you would have had the slop that you had rather than the rehearsed music that your students have the right to be a part of. They have the right to learn, gentlemen. To have a professional prepare them so they do not go out there on stage sounding anything but their best. To build self-efficacy and self-esteem instead of having it take a beating. Not only was no one mad at me, several of them were apologetic, saying that they were bummed that I wouldn't do the show, but they don't blame me. They don't blame me, basically because they know that they suck. One wrote, quote, "I don't blame you, our group needs a lot of work," unquote. Group needs a lot of work because we've not been allowed to get the work done. Another said, "I don't see why they're not getting it." In the first of those, and with Robert, it is clear that their self-esteem is taking the hit. They are feeling bad about themselves and thinking that I am abandoning them because they're not good enough for me. In the second, one of your students was a soprano. She had the melody, which is the easier part. Is already musically active, took private lessons, played an instrument. And I thought this was not exactly disrespectful to her peers, but not understanding either the situation. Can't see why they can't get it, because we're not allowed to even try to get it. Well, anyway, in any case, I cannot have either of these. In both cases, they thought I was giving up on them because they were no good. That's what they thought. As a professional, I can't have them thinking of me. As a professional or as a person. And I won't have them feeling that way about themselves. Not on account of this ridiculous clown. So I wrote them back explaining that they had the right to musical rehearsals, that that's what was supposed to be happening every minute I was in there, that Larry would not allow us to prepare, even though he had nothing else to do other than to say, quote, "run the show." And I told them that I would be reporting this. Mr. Perkinson, it saddens me to have to report to you that one of your students told me that you wouldn't care. And that's exactly what I've seen. I understand you're a busy man, you have a school to run, this is just a theater show, least of your concerns. I'm just a musician, accompanist passing through. This is absolutely nothing you need to be troubled with. And you trust Larry. But at some point, sir, enough is enough. When I spoke to you, you had a volleyball game to watch. I understand you wanted to watch your daughter, but I told you what was going on was, quote, beyond unacceptable. And it was happening right then. As I saw checking the news feed on Facebook, and as I had predicted, your students were losing their voices. And these are the reasons why I made contact with your students.